already. Okay. All right, good morning and welcome. Thank you all for joining us here on our latest episode of Prez Says for the 2023 spring semester. I'm Charleston, the operations manager of KGRM. I am here with the main man, Mr. Rick Gallo. We got a lot to catch up on today's episode, so we'll share the stage with Grambling State University's head cheer coach, Mr. Terry Lilly. We'll also get the chat with Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Marcus Kennedy. He is the Director of Campus Activities, Student Engagement, and the Favorable Student Union, along with Mr. Brandon Logan. He's our Interim VP of University Advancement and the Graduate Program Coordinator for Sports Administration, Dr. Aaron Livingston. This should be a very informative program that we have here for you today. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned when we come back for Prez Says. Grambling State University, sitting here with Mr. Rick Gallo. How we doing today, Mr. Gallo?
Hey, Charles, doing great, man. Thank you again for always doing such an awesome job of, it really should be Charles Says, because you say more than I say on this show. And look, I absolutely appreciate everything that you're doing, and to keep this show going. What the audience doesn't see are students who are running cameras and doing production, which is something that's always great to see them getting hands-on experience doing running the show.
Well, I appreciate the praise, Prez. It does not go unnoticed, but we know who's calling the shots here. We know that's why it's Prez Says and not Charles Says. But on our last episode of Prez Says, we had the pleasure and opportunity to sit down with guests and discuss some of the issues and topics regarding advancing the university as well as branding. Today we get to sit down with several Tigers that are making big noise and deserve some recognition. We have Mr. Terry Lilly. He is Grambling State University's head cheer coach. And we also have Mr. Marcus Kennedy. He is the Director of Campus Activities and Student Engagements. But today we're going to call them the Khaki Twins because they came in very coordinated with these with these natural earth tone outfits. How we doing today, gentlemen?
We're doing great.
Pretty good.
Great.
Look, I've known Terry since the 80s. I don't think I've ever seen him dressed up that much.
Yep.
So, and they got the championship rings on. Oh, my God. Yeah. I'm 11 and a half, all right.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We have one for you right here.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that thing is shining, too. We may need to get a close-up on that. That thing is.
Which camera shot? Who wants it?
Yeah.
Yeah, get in close on that.
Yeah.
Nice. So tell us about the championship that you all just won.
Well, the best part about it is it's something that the kids have to work for. And at Grambling State University, we try to explain to the kids nothing's going to come easy. So hard work is something that we want to always promote. So they worked really hard. They think they started practice for nationals in January, but they really started in August. They just didn't know it. Okay. So we used a lot of those things that we did for football and a lot of things that we incorporated in basketball, and we put it all together. And with Marcus's assistance, we were able to put an awesome routine together with a lot of skill and difficulty to help our team, get number one. So it took a lot of work and a lot of coordination. And between the two of us, we have different skills. So the best part is to have an assistant coach that accents what I do to make everything, flow smoothly.
So, and let's see, Marcus was a cheerleader
under me.
Under you.
And I cheered here. So
right.
it's a legacy. It's awesome to be able to work with someone to do something that I did, and then we watch others get the opportunity to do what we aspired to do when we were younger. So that was awesome.
And Marcus, I need you to clear up something for me. We talked about it a few days ago. So tell us about who was the first HBCU cheerleading squad to win a national championship. Some other school is, claiming some title. So clear that up for the audience.
So, in the competition realm, there are different categories. There are different types of events that you can compete against. Grambling State University, we attended the College Classic in Orlando, Florida. We competed in the large co-ed division. Amongst that division were 5 other college and universities. We were the only historically black college and university in attendance at that competition. And so in our category, large co-ed, which consists of male and female cheerleaders doing skills in tumbling, jumps, pyramids, baskets, stunts, we executed at high score levels, and we were able to, achieve the victory of being large co-ed champions. And at this particular competition, the College Classic, we were the first.
Nice.
Yes.
And give us an idea of the other schools you all were competing against in that category.
Sure. There were schools like Bethel College, Upper Iowa University, Springfield College. There was, I think, University of Maryland, but I think it's one of their sub schools. So it was 5 schools, 5 universities for sure, with large co-ed teams just like us.
Awesome. And of course, we get to see you all do it year round, and know how phenomenal you are. But it's another thing to have the entire country to really see the quality of the work that our cheerleaders do. And again, I don't think they always get the credit they deserve for starting in August, just like football, just like band, and all. I mean, I never could do all those flips and everything, so I'm just always amazed at all of that.
Well, everybody has their edge. So Grambling's edge is our tumbling skills are phenomenal, and it always surprises us when we see what they can do, especially like at a football game when there's just a part where they just tumble. That's when we realize we need to put these people on a bigger stage. So that's why we decided to compete.
Yeah, in addition to our tumbling skills, as you see on the screen, our pyramid skills are very above average, very advanced. And I think that's something that Grambling State cheerleading has always been known for. I remember coming to Grambling for high school day as a junior and not even knowing that I was going here, and after seeing the cheerleaders on the sideline build this wall pyramid that stretched from one side to the next, I'm like, okay, this school has it. So we're definitely known for our pyramid structures as well.
Wonderful.
If we're talking about, Coach Lilly, I'm going to direct this to you. If we talk about legacy and GSU, your name always comes to mind. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your career spans upward of 30 years or so here with the university. So how do you balance tradition with contemporary cheer practices to make sure everything stays fresh with the cheer squad?
Because I've been here so long, the benefit of being here is I know some things that most people wouldn't know, like the original fight song.
Right.
I've changed it 3 times, but only I know that. But we keep some elements so that if a person comes back for homecoming, they're going to see parts that they know. But we always try to keep it up to date, and we're always going to keep something old so that you still feel the Grambling spirit in anything that we do.
Absolutely.
Because I cheered here, I always had desires for the team. Now that I'm coaching here, it's great to see those desires come to fruition. So we always try to keep it fresh and new. And over the summers, I go places, and then I use my assistant coaches he's also a collegiate person who does cheer on the side as well. So we always get together and we rehash things, we redo things. So you may think it's the same thing all the time, but we always have some trick up our sleeve, waiting for the crowd.
It's if you're just joining us, we're here with Mr. Marcus Kennedy and Mr. Terry Lilly. Mr. Kennedy, I got a question for you. So you are an experienced student affairs professional and a change agent. You've demonstrated time and time again that you engage with students, and your overall planning is phenomenal. So what do you have anything planned for end of the semester wrap up for students? Can you give us any ideas of the kind of stuff you got planned?
Absolutely. So we're actually getting ready to go into our annual Spring Fest, Tiger Fest, if you may. And so it's a week span of events beginning on tomorrow, Saturday, which will start with our Met Gala Student Choice Awards. We will then follow up on Sunday with our Gospel Fest featuring Jacqueline Carr and Kalante Gavin. Then on Monday, we have a nice drive-in movie by the Water Tower, and as some of you out there may know, of old Drew ground. So we're going to have a drive-in movie out there. On Tuesday, we'll have our silent headphone party here in the Hobby Assembly Center. On Wednesday, we will go into the day with our Pretty Wednesday activity, where we have the students doing some novelty creations with street signs and getting custom-made rings on the yard. And then that night, we'll get some laughter and start and go into our comedy show. On Thursday, we have our concert, and we'll be releasing those names soon, so stay tuned.
Okay.
And then on Friday, we have our Friday Festival, which will be in the Quad area. We'll have street games, we'll have food, and this is in conjunction with campus living and housing. And then Friday night, we have our step show. And then on Saturday, we'll all come together and support our athletic teams at the Black and Gold game. On Sunday, we'll do a campus cleanup from 11 to 3. And then we'll go and support the Orchesis Dance Company at Dance's High Praise in the Performing Arts Center.
Awesome. I know we got to get the break real quick, so I want to ask you real quick, Mr. Kennedy. The Home Depot's Retool Your School program strives to give back to HBCUs. They've been doing so since 2009. They've invested over $4.1 million to improve HBCUs. So I know that we recently were in the cluster 1 of the winnings of that type of resources and monies. So how can that be used to assist with like the beautification of campus?
Well, one of the things that we want to do is we want to enhance areas where we engage with students, but also just our campus community. And one of those spaces is the Black and Gold Room in the Favoral Student Union. And so we want to use those funds to enhance that space. We want to, enhance the energy efficient lighting, windows, flooring, just make upgrades to the space because it's still used to this day. And because that is a neutral or central location on campus, we want to always make sure that those spaces that we hold with tradition and value remain up to date and in good use.
Now I see this virtual display we have going here. Is this like some potential, it looks like potential architecture work that could be, or a possibility of funds being used to demonstrate just how we can update and keep Grambling State University looking fresh and keeping us fresh and spiffy here.
Absolutely, and we use this to try to cast vision and be able to kind of see it in the space and make the people feel. We're very thankful and supportive, grateful for our people who contributed, our students who initiated campaigns, our alumni who assisted us in getting this placement. Amongst all the HBCUs in our tier, we were ranked number 6 with over 300,000 votes. And so that's phenomenal. So we thank you for the power of the Grambling Night to support us in those efforts.
But we're challenging all of our alums and everybody next year. We want to kick in high gear. We want to lead from beginning to end. So we don't want to just play 6 next year. we want to come out number one. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to tweet all day and night if I can, and I want to encourage all that they do the same. But we certainly want to thank all of our students, and especially our alums who have really put so much energy behind that effort.
Absolutely. I'm getting the signal that we got to toss to a break. Stay tuned. We'll take a quick time out, and then we'll hit the court with our next guest. You're watching Prez Says.
Cats down by 58 with 1 minute left.
Hey, where's everybody going? This game's not over. So we're not the best. Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball, and pretty sure our mascot has this costume on backwards. But this is our team. No matter what.
You got 100 happy days coming your way. 100 happy days. So put a smile on your face. 99 problems, you know you ain't got 'em. Good times are here to stay. You got 100 happy days coming your way. Don't need a song for you to dance. Go ahead and get up. Just live your life and take a chance. 'Cause it just might surprise you. Spending all your time looking for a pot of gold. It doesn't matter if you miss.
Finally, another wide receiver in the house, my man.
So, you ready to learn how the Heismans do it?
Can't wait. Once at 8, then again at 6.
Hi. Did one of you gentlemen use Nissan at home to order 40 Pathfinders?
Baker said it's another Heisman thing. I didn't think you'd believe me.
Here are your keys, sir.
Welcome back to Prez Says. Thank you for joining us for our next segment. On the set with us now, we have the head coach of our men's basketball team, Coach Dante Jackson. Coach, how we doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good, awesome. So I just want to point something out real quick before we get started. In your first season, you guided the Tigers to their first SWAC regular season championship in it had been 30 years since that had happened. We fast forward to 2022-2023 season, and the Tigers are the winners of the HBCU Classic. Coach, what is the HBCU Classic for those living under a rock, and why was that such a big deal for us to bring that win home?
Whenever we play Southern is a big deal. Like, it's just for me. But the HBCU Classic was an NBA initiative for HBCUs and playing at the All-Star game. And it was an incredible initiative that the NBA is doing for just to give back to the HBCUs and be able to put us on a platform. So incredible event.
So, Coach, what's your record against Southern?
I want to say 12-3.
It's pretty good winning percentage.
Well, I was told there are certain people you got to beat.
That would be one for sure.
Definitely.
And Coach, look, I tell you what, your guys, talk about some of the experiences that the guys got at the All-Star weekend with some of the NBA players.
So it was incredible. You're talking about, we had initiatives from career fair development, career fairs, student development within sports and just other avenues. The presentation from Donovan Mitchell, where he brought his game shoes for our kids to wear. So it was just so many different things going on, and I want to say we were so busy that I had to tell them, hey, can I just prepare for the game?
Right, because we were up a little bit late that night with the Donovan Mitchell engagement with Adidas and all of that.
And Adidas did a phenomenal job of putting that together for us, with Donovan being one of our shoe sponsors and with the men's basketball team. So just hats off to Adidas and Donovan Mitchell.
And I guess for all those watching, you can go to adidas.com. If you just search for Grambling, those Donovan Mitchell shoes are, the white ones are for sale on the Adidas site. And of course, we do get paid royalties on that, so that goes back into supporting our basketball program. So we want to encourage everyone to go and buy them a pair of those Donovan Mitchells.
Please buy those Donovan Mitchells for us.
Right. And it's amazing just, we were talking last show just about branding and overall how universities are viewed. So I can imagine that events like the HBCU Classic are great for retention and for recruitment efforts for the university. How was the energy down there that weekend? Like, how do you stay focused while all of that is going on?
So the one thing I worried about was going and playing that game in Utah, because that was technically our home game. So when Dr. Scott called and we were talking about doing the game, the first thing he was like, well, what do you think about moving your game? I'm like, the Southern game? That's our biggest recruiting tool.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried, but we got out to Utah and it was a phenomenal engagement, a phenomenal event. The crowd was there. It was just incredible to see Grand Fam show up and travel all the way to Utah and support us. So we were excited. I mean, you felt like it was a home game. You felt like it was, the environment was right, and it was just great that everybody showed up and showed out for us.
Absolutely.
And Coach, when you think about the experience, though, of the guys, was this the first time that any of your players had flown, for instance, or were there any special experiences that you guys experienced in this trip?
Well, for us, we've all, we fly all over the country, but it was our first time actually participating in NBA All-Star. So to be there, and for instance, for me, I'm an avid basketball guy. I love basketball. And even our student athletes, the best we ever get to do is watch it on Saturday and Sunday. But to be part of it and to be at the slam dunk competition, to be at the three-point shootout, to be at the All-Star game, that's just a different situation, just to be there. So that it was different in that aspect, to be able to be there in person.
Yeah. And I certainly want to thank you for your leadership of the program, because again, taking your home game against Southern, all the way to Utah is something that I know as a coach you had concerns about it. But I think the experiences of a lifetime that your guys and your assistant coaches and all of us who had an opportunity to participate, I think is something that they will take with them for the rest of their lives.
For the rest of their lives. And I had to look at the bigger picture. It was more important than just a basketball game. This was a way for us to showcase our brand nationally and globally. So just for us to, we talk about recruitment, what other bigger weekend in basketball is it than the NBA All-Star game, except for the Final Four? Those are the two biggest weekends in NBA basketball. So to me, I was just like, we got to do it, because it's bigger than us. It's about Grambling.
And of course, I know you were focused on the game, but when you think about Reverend Jesse Jackson was there, Felicia Rashad was there, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. I mean, all of these celebrities and other notable people in attendance.
Even before the game, Prez, the Western Conference All-Stars come in to give our guys a pep talk. Yeah. And for our guys to hear from Damian Lillard, Zion, to come in and just be able to speak to our guys, Paul George. These are guys that they emulate and want to be. So to hear words of encouragement and guys saying, hey, we're watching you, it's the same way you watching us. I mean, that just motivates these guys to play at another level.
And Coach, your postseason run, I was satisfied with the performance that our boys had. I noticed that you all are a very tight-knit crew. When I think of your coaching staff, I think of guys like John Goldsmith, for instance, and like the dedication that they have with the team. So how do you all stay so close like that to keep that morale going? Like, what's your secret?
It's family. Yeah. It's 4, 5, 6 family. It's the most important thing of anything you do. One person can't be bigger than the program. If it's like I tell them all the time, if I do something wrong, the program goes on. If you do something wrong, the program goes on.
Yeah.
We all got to make sure that we are doing our part to keep the program elevated and going in the right direction. So we always speak about being family. We want to recruit guys that's going to buy into the culture of Grambling. And one of the things that I always pride ourselves on is that, our transfer rate. When people come here, they stay.
Yep.
It's about recruiting the right kids and then making sure that they graduate. So retention is big for us because when I first got here, we couldn't even compete in the tournament. We won the league. But at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that never happens. So we've been graduating 95% of our kids. We haven't had guys transferring out. So we're just excited about where our program is going and the direction we're headed.
Awesome energy you have. I love your energy when y'all get a win, and they catch you in the locker room. I'm like, man, coach is amped up. But that's the kind of energy you need because the students can feel that transfer of energy, when you're dedicated to your service and what you're doing.
I just believe it's about believing in them.
Yeah.
When you sit down and you go through all this stuff, I may be calm, cool, collective on the sideline, but if you come in here in a practice, it ain't so calm, cool, and collective. You get a little bit more to yelling, and I'm a firm believer in the teaching goes on in practice. Yeah. It ain't time to teach in the game because whatever we done taught in practice, you got to apply in the game. So we just want to make sure that you're feeling, great, and then it's just about celebrating them. You want people to celebrate your accomplishments. So, anytime it's a win, whether good, bad, or indifferent, we want to celebrate it.
So do you practice those dance moves, Coach, that we've seen, in the locker room after some big wins, or does it just kind of come to you naturally?
It comes to me naturally, and then my wife talk about me. Talk about my rhythm. Man, I got to get my rhythm back together. So I used to have a little rhythm. Say my rhythm ain't quite right no more. But nah, it's just natural. You get a big win that Vanderbilt, that Colorado. Those wins are huge. It's huge for our program. Just program and definer wins, just to know that you're moving in the right direction and you're recruiting kids that believe.
What do your children say about your dance moves?
Oh, they always say, Dad, it's a stop. But I can't. It's basketball. I don't say anything about their moves.
Right. Coach, it was great having you on. I'm hearing we got to go to break here. New nickname for you, call you Coach Swaggy Tay with the dance moves.
Hey, I'll take it. I got a little swag. I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay, when we return from this break, we'll have our next guest to sit down with us. You are watching Prez Says.
You got 100 happy days coming your way. 100 happy days. So put a smile on your face. 99 problems, you know you ain't got 'em. Good times are here to stay. You got 100 happy days coming your way. Don't need a song for you to dance. Go ahead and get up. Just live your life and take a chance. 'Cause it just might surprise you. Spending all your time looking for a pot of gold. It doesn't matter if you miss.
Finally, another wide receiver in the house, my man.
So, you ready to learn how the Heismans do it?
Can't wait. Once at 8, then again at 6.
Hi. Did one of you gentlemen use Nissan at home to order 40 Pathfinders?
Baker said it's another Heisman thing. I didn't think you'd believe me.
Here are your keys, sir.
Cats down by 58 with 1 minute left. Hey, where's everybody going? This game's not over. So we're not the best. Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball, and pretty sure our mascot has his costume on backwards. But this is our team. No matter what.
We have a special guest with us here on the show, Dr. Aaron Livingston. He's Grambling State University's Associate Professor and Graduate Coordinator of Sports Administration. On his last trip, well, I'll say his first trip to Ghana in February of 2020, he took a team of 6, which included 4 interns and the Healthy Life Global team. The student interns were available to attend because they already established partnerships with Grambling State University's Sports Administration Program and Healthy Life Goals, and now we're back to Ghana again. Doc, how are we doing today?
We're doing well. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good, good. So what, for those who were uninformed about the purpose of the first trip and the need for a second return, can you just give us a breakdown of what we got going on?
Well, the first trip came about from a partnership I established with Healthy Life Global, which is a nonprofit organization, youth sports organization in South Haven, Mississippi. I've worked with her for a good number of years when I was at a previous university providing interns. So we continued that relationship here with Grambling. So when the opportunity to go to Ghana came about, it was basically about community service in Ghana, and that's where this whole process started, doing community service and service outreach programs in Ghana.
So give the audience a little more, unpack that a little bit with some of the activities, some of the community service that they do while they're there, and what the impact is to the citizens that you all are able to engage with.
So we provide a series of sports camps. The first year we had a series of medical camps that students provided service to, cleanup, community programs, educational programs in the schools.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry to interrupt, guys. I'm hearing in my IFB that we got a technical issue and we have to go to break real quick, and we'll be right back within a minute or so. here on Prez Says. Do apologize for the technical difficulties. Anything that can happen will happen in live production. But Dr. Livingston, continue. We were talking about the trip to Ghana and reasons for the second trip back and the opportunities that our Grambling State University students had while there and having that time.
Actually, this is our third trip with students.
Third? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we've kind of built the platform up as we've been going along. The second trip we took, we were starting to explore the opportunity of engaging in educational experience in the universities, because the ultimate goal is to have Ghanaian students educated here in sports administration to take back to their native Ghana. This year, we were able to establish 2 academic conferences along with our sport initiatives. So we had conferences at the University of Ghana, Legon, and also at the University of Education at Winneba in Ghana. We had two-day conferences. So we had our students, graduate and undergraduate, presented at those conferences, and we had awesome turnout. So the ultimate goal is for us to build our strong platform and footprint in Ghana.
Now, go ahead, Prez.
No, I was going to, so you think there's opportunity to recruit students from Ghana here?
We are already actually in the final stages of our MOU.
Great.
Where we're looking to have about a consistent number of Ghanaian students when they graduate with their undergraduate degrees from the premier universities in Ghana to come to Grambling to study sports administration. That's just our footprint, because we're hoping to start in sports administration and expand to all graduate programs.
Oh, that's great. And so what has been the experience of our students, and what's the feedback you get not only for international travel, but all the cultural enrichment that they're able to experience while traveling to and from Ghana?
Oh, it's been mind blowing. Some of the terms used was life changing, one in a lifetime experience. Students have really embraced the challenge of going and exploring a new culture, and becoming immersed in the food, the culture, going and looking at all the history, the learning about the slave trade and all of these different things. Just mind-blowing and impactful events for students to engage in. And our students really, this year we had an awesome group of students. And I really enjoyed working with them so much that we're doing a lot of other things with this group now. We're looking to expand the group. It's not just limited to sport. Administration students to travel. As I mentioned, the first year we had a medical team and our students worked in a clinic. There are just so many needs in Ghana, and when our partner Health and Life Global explores what they need on our next trip, we try to fill our interns to fit those needs. So we've taken biology students, we've taken business students. So it's not just limited to sports administration students. Our academic platform is starting with sports administration. But this is a project that we hope to include students from all over campus.
Great. Well, again, we certainly appreciate your not only being a part of this or initiating it, but the passion and commitment that you bring, because it is not an easy task to move students from Grambling, Louisiana to Ghana and keeping them safe and bringing them back. So again, we want to applaud you for broadening the experiences and the learning of our students outside the classroom.
My pleasure.
All right, Dr. Livingston, thank you again for sitting down and joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we had. After this break, we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. Brandon Logan and touch on the 1901 Day of Giving. You're watching Prez Says.
Finally, another wide receiver in the house, my man.
So, you ready to learn how the Heismans do it?
Can't wait. Once at 8, then again at 6.
Hi. Did one of you gentlemen use Nissan at home to order 40 Pathfinders?
Baker said it's another Heisman thing. I didn't think you'd believe me.
Here are your keys, sir.
You got 100 happy days coming your way. 100 happy days. So put a smile on your face. 99 problems, you know you ain't got 'em. Good times are here to stay. You got 100 happy days coming your way. Don't need a song for you to surprise you. Spending all your time looking for a pot of gold. It doesn't matter if you.
We are back with our final segment of Prez Says for today. So as we mentioned before the break, the 1901 Day of Giving is a 24-hour period for alumni and friends to come together and support the people, programs, and projects that they care about the most at Grambling State University. With your help on April 19th of this year, we can make this the best day of giving ever. We are joined here with Brandon Logan. He's the interim VP of University Advancement and Initiative here at Grambling State University. Mr. Logan, how we doing today, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Hold on, we're gonna adjust something here so we can hear. Okay, so if you can, Mr. Logan, sorry about that. Can you give us a little background on the 1901 Day of Giving and why it's so important for us here at Grambling State University for our own to give back to our own?
Well, absolutely, and good morning to you and Prez, and thank you so much for having me today. As you said in your introduction of me being here today, this is the second annual 1901 Day of Giving for Grambling State University. This is an opportunity for us to come together for 24 hours as students, alum, friends of the university to invest in key programs and causes that continue to move our university forward. And I can't be more proud to announce the groundswell of momentum that we have for this year's initiative and really expect us to improve on what we did last year. So our goal this year is to get 1,000 donors for this community. Grambling has a rich history of academic and athletic success in the society, and we want to give opportunities for people to reinvest back into the communities that have made individuals such as me and you all in the stage today. So we are set to do that as an advancement department next Wednesday, April 19th for 24 hours.
You know, Brandon, when you look at the ramp up, and as we've seen the videos, especially those from our students, not just student leaders, but all the students who've been brought into this effort, you know, tell us about, you know, the thought that went into incorporating more of our students as we get ready for that Day of Giving.
Absolutely. I think one of the great and unique qualifiers of being a Grambling graduate or a Grambling student is that you are put on a stage where you can show multiple dimensions of your leadership. And everyone doesn't serve as the SGA president or Miss Grambling or the captain of the football team. We have everyday individuals matriculating on campus that are doing exceptional in the classroom and on the field, and we want to make sure that those stories were told for the everyday individual that's listening to us. We wanted to make sure our campaign was relatable to everyone that tuned in and invested their time into what we were communicating to the masses.
And you know, I think quite often, you know, they see me, I'm always, you know, asking for money, you know, please give to our students. But again, want to applaud you and your team for really helping our community understand that there are actual students who benefit from their generosity and their investment in making these opportunities available for our students. So the donors will have an opportunity to direct where their dollars go, correct?
Absolutely. So we try to simplify our processes this year. We have 6 impact areas, one being presidential priorities, and within the presidential priority, you have assigned and requested us to raise funds for GAP scholarships. And I like to call that the finish line fund, because you are tapping into students who have exhausted all of their funding options. They are semester or in the semester to finally graduate, and we just need to get them to the finish line. So you'll have opportunities to make strategic investments in the GAP fund. And then you think about, from the previous interview with Dr. Livingston, taking students to Ghana. Well, we know there's costs associated with that. And so a part of our Access and Opportunity Fund this year you can invest in experiential learning trips. And so when you think about the multiplier effect of taking students to Ghana and then to Australia and to different parts of the globe, we want to make sure that we don't have funding as the barrier to entry. And so if students get invited to participate, we want to make sure we have the means to get them to that destination.
And, when we talk about the Student Gap Fund and how that impacts students directly, and that's typically when a student has maxed out all of their aid, scholarships, and everything, and there's still a gap between the amount they have and the amount they need to complete their registration process. And there have been situations where there are students who literally have a $30 gap, but simply they've exhausted every avenue to close that gap. And so this has a direct impact on our students' ability to complete the registration process and focus on getting in the classroom, doing work, and having an opportunity to complete that course and that semester. And I think a lot of times people think about retention as just an academic performance matter, but for a lot of students, when think of over 90% of our students receive some form of student financial aid. So for us to be able to help students financially is also helping students with our retention rates as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the reason why we designed this campaign so uniquely is that we need the flexibility to make strategic investments in the highest area of needs for the university. There's great opportunities, there's great human capital to invest in. Our students are brilliant, they're bright. There may be some means that they will need to support them along their Grambling academic and athletic journey. And I'm asking for every alum to consider giving what they can for 1901 Day of Giving. We are trying to limit our dependence on 10 to 15 corporations and really build community that has a mixture of investments as students, alums, and friends of the university. So if everyone places an emphasis on giving what they can on April 19, 2023, I have no doubt that we will continue to fuel and fund those initiatives that are near and dear to students and faculty's heart.
And Brandon, for those who may have been living in Iraq and may not be familiar with Brandon Logan, can you just give our viewers just a little snapshot of who Brandon Logan is that's asking them to contribute and invest on the Day of Giving?
Well, Prez, I saw your championship ring and I started to grab mine, but I am a proud graduate of Grambling State University, Earl Lester Cole Honors College, national champion 2005, College of Business graduate, actually continued on in sports administration after graduating 3 years. Personally, I have invested $2,000 into the 1901 Day of Giving match. And so if you go to our gram.edu/giving day, you will see that I have invested in two areas that are responsible for making me who I am today. $1,000 towards the football program and $1,000 towards the College of Business. And so I will not ask any individual to give to something I have not fully invested in. And so I live and bleed Gram fam. Every day is a great day to be a Tiger, and I know that next week it's going to be an exceptionally rich opportunity for us to reinvest. And so I'm $2,000 in. If my wife allows me to give more, I will continue to invest on April 19th. But I am Grambling through and through.
Well, I'm going to match that $2,000. I'm glad you didn't do more, because then we'd both probably be in a bind. But I will match that $2,000 that you're matching with as well. So again, and one of the first things I did after becoming president was to say I would not ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. So I appreciate you continuing that on, and we're going to both be invested on the Day of Giving.
Awesome. Go Grambling.
Absolutely. Before we go, Mr. Logan, one more time, can you tell our viewers and listeners where they go directly to give?
Absolutely. gram.edu/giving day. And the quick answer is also to visit Grambling State University's social media pages. There are links all throughout leading up to today and through the remainder of these 5 days leading up to the campaign. And just remember, one day, one gift, one gram.
All right.
Love it.
Words to live by. You know, a lot of people say they believe black and gold, but it's another thing to put your money where your mouth is. So we always appreciate people like Mr. Brandon Logan. When we come back from this break, we'll wrap it up here with Prez Says. I'm Charleston Talbert, and we'll see you on the other side of this break. Thank you, Mr. Logan.
Thanks, Brandon.
Cats down by 58 with 1 minute left.
Hey, where's everybody going? This game's not over. So we're not the best. Our kicker stubbed his toe on the ball, and pretty sure our mascot has this costume on backwards. But this is our team. No matter what.
Finally, another wide receiver in the house, my man.
So, you ready to learn how the Heismans do it?
Can't wait. Once at 8, then again at 6.
Hi. Did one of you gentlemen use Nissan at home to order 40 Pathfinders?
Baker said it's another Heisman thing. I didn't think you'd believe me.
Here are your keys, sir.
You got 100 happy days coming your way. 100 happy days. So put a smile on your face. 99 problems, you know you ain't got 'em. Good times are here to stay. You got 100 happy days coming your way. Don't need a song for you to dance. Go ahead and get up. Just live your life and take a chance. 'Cause it just might surprise you. Spending all your time looking for a pot of gold. It doesn't matter if you miss.
We are back, and unfortunately our time is up. We had a jam-packed show today, Prez. I really enjoyed our guests. It was a very informative episode today. Want to give us our last words and our closing here, Prez?
Sure. So, you know, again, we probably should rename this to Charleston Says, because you do a phenomenal job of keeping this going. And again, I can't say enough about the students who you don't see, who are behind the cameras and back in the truck with Mr. B, and all of the hands-on experience that our students are able to get by being a part of this show. So I'm always committed to doing it, not just to get the information out, but our students get an opportunity to have work product that they can make as a part of their portfolio as they're moving on and getting great jobs after they leave here. And you know, the overarching message, as we follow up with the last segment with Brandon Logan, is the fact that it takes money to run this operation. And
Yes.
you know, sometimes I think there's a misunderstanding about how we fund this institution. And you know, back in the day, when the state was funding higher ed to the tune of about 65%, that day has come and gone. When I
Long
first,
gone.
Oh,
It's not
long
coming
gone.
back either.
Oh no, it's not. And so, quite frankly, only about 25% of our budget comes from the state of Louisiana, and much of that we send back to the state in terms of retirement benefits, insurance benefits for our employees and retirees as well. So really, tuition and fees are the main driver for our budget. And so, you know, it's so important for us to be able to generate revenue from other sources, so that the main burden of running this operation is not just on our students. So again, you know, for all those who say they love Grambling, and if you cut them, they'll bleed black and gold. We need you to bleed a little green.
Bleed some green.
Yeah, bleed a little green. And of course, for all those who've had an opportunity to gain a great education, go out and have a great life, a great career, a great salary, give back to our students who are here, not only now, but those who will be here in the future. Invest in the future of our students by being involved in that 1901 Day of Giving, which will be on April 19th.
Correct.
Next week.
No amount is too little to give. I can't stress that enough. sometimes people are intimidated or weary of giving because I can only have $10 to give or $20 to give. But like you just mentioned, students with the GAP fund, like $30 could be everything to a student if 30 is what they need to, you know, graduate or even complete the registration process. So I definitely encourage everyone to get on your computers, your phones, make your way over to gram.edu/giving day for April 19th and make sure that we can get this money to Grambling.
Well, Charles, and on that point, you know, for folks like our good friend and supporter Trey Hayes, who already has his menu for the spring game next Saturday, maybe Trey, take one of those items off your menu and encourage your following, because he's got a huge following. Oh my God! So get some of your followers to invest on that day of giving, because again, it's about priorities. You know, and I think that investing in our students is more important than a tailgate, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, it is, right?
With no university, there is no tailgate.
Exactly.
So it's it's a no-brainer basically. I'd like to thank everybody out there for joining us. Thank the TV Center crew, all the students working here. Thank Dame back in the studio at KGRM for getting us through the show. And that's a wrap. We'll see you next time here on Prez Says.